Have you ever felt like you're talking to a dozen different AI assistants every single day? You got one for work, another one for customer service, one for your smart home. It gets messy. Well, what if they could all share a single brilliant brain? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful new approach that does exactly that.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about the multi-platform headache that developers are dealing with. Then, I'll introduce you to a cool concept, the brain and senses. We'll cover its huge advantages, see it in action with some wild examples, from cigars to college apps, and then we'll zoom out and look at what this means for the future of smart assistants.
All right, let's start with the problem, and trust me, for any business trying to use AI, it is a massive headache. If you want your AI to actually be where your users are, you are staring down a true developer's nightmare. I mean, just put yourself in a developer's shoes for a second. Your company wants the super helpful AI assistant, right? But it has to work on Slack for your internal team, on WeChat for your customers in Asia, Teams for your corporate partners, and maybe even Feishu. How on earth do you manage that kind of chaos? And this slide, wow, it just lays out two completely different realities. On the left, you've got the old way. It's a total mess of separate projects, scattered information, and a nightmare to update. But the approach on the right? It's a complete game changer. You develop the AI's logic just once, and then you can deploy it everywhere. That means one brain, one consistent experience for users, and way, way lower costs. So, how does this magic actually work? Well, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is with a really simple analogy that perfectly explains the two key pieces of technology working together. And here it is. This just breaks it down perfectly. Think of Dify as the brain. This is where all the knowledge is stored, where all the complex thinking and logic happens. Then you've got LangBot, which acts as the mouth and ears. It's out there listening for messages on every single platform, Slack, WeChat, you name it, and then it delivers the brain's answers back, perfectly formatted for each one.
Okay, so what happens when you put this brain and these senses together? Well, you get some absolutely incredible advantages that totally change how we build and use these assistants. Let's dig into the top three.
First up, and this is a huge one, especially for developers, is just raw, radical speed. We are talking about a massive, massive cut in development time. So how does it do it? Well, the secret sauce is that whole develop once, deploy everywhere model we just saw. You build your AI's core intelligence, its personality, its knowledge, just one time, inside the Dify brain. LangBot then does all the heavy lifting, acting like a universal translator for every platform's unique technical language. No more writing the same code over and over again. No more headaches. Okay, on to advantage number 2. And for anyone who's ever had to manage these systems, this one is an absolute lifesaver. Unified, centralized management. All that complexity just vanishes into one simple command center. Just think about what this means day to day. Want to update your bot's knowledge about a new product? You do it once in Dify and boom, instantly the assistant on Slack, Teams, and WeChat is smarter. Need to check on conversations? They're all in one unified log. This takes what used to be a chaotic maintenance job and turns it into a simple, really efficient process. And last but not least, the third big advantage. This is where we move beyond, just boring old text chats and into a much richer, more natural way of communicating.
This is where things get really, really powerful. A user can snap a picture of a broken part, upload a document, or even just send a quick voice note. The Dify brain can understand all these different types of input, and LangBot, the mouth and ears, makes sure the whole interaction works smoothly, no matter which chat app they're using. It's all about meeting users where they already are, with the tools they already love to use.
All right, theory is great, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. This whole brain and senses model really clicks when you see it in action with a couple of very, very different examples. Okay, first up, we've got a super specialized knowledge assistant. It was built for WeCom, which is a big business communication app. Think of it like a pocket expert on a really niche topic. So a user pops in with a very specific question. Now, this is not something your average generic chatbot would have a clue about. It requires a deep, specialized knowledge base. And bam, there it is, a perfect, super helpful response. The Dify's brain instantly pulls the precise answer from its specialized knowledge. This is a powerful technique called RAG, Basically, instead of just making stuff up, the AI first goes and retrieves the right facts, and then it generates a trustworthy answer based on them. It's really smart. All right, for our next example, we're really leveling up the complexity. This is an AI college advisor built for the platform Feishu, and this thing has to juggle a whole bunch of different variables all at once. I mean, just look at how much information is packed into this one question. You've got a location, a specific test score, a desired major, and a regional preference. The AI needs to understand and process all of those things at the same time.
And this is just fantastic. The system doesn't spit out some generic answer. It synthesizes all of the user's requirements to give a personalized, data-driven recommendation. It totally gets the complex question and pulls from its knowledge base of enrollment data to give a genuinely helpful answer.
Now, these examples are really impressive, but they're pointing to something way, way bigger. This whole brain and senses architecture, it isn't just about building better customer service bots. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about this stuff. The big picture here is that this model creates a unified middle layer for pretty much all of our digital tasks. Imagine filing your expense report just by chatting with a bot in Slack, or getting the latest sales numbers from your CRM with a quick question. This approach turns chat into a universal remote control for all of your business systems. So the ultimate takeaway is this. We're moving away from having a dozen single-purpose bots and toward having a unified intelligence that can help us everywhere. This one brain, many voices model changes everything, and it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. What if your next big project, your most complex task, what if it could all be kicked off with just a simple, natural conversation?